Okay, we are rolling. Hi, greetings, dear Scorpio. This is Terra Lumination with your mini love and relationship report for August 2018. And if you're singles, yeah, you can watch this too. Please allow for the laws of attraction. You're always radiating love energy at some point or other, some way or another. And what you put out there eventually comes back to you. So you could think of this as the energy of what if, like, because you'll see in a minute how we do this. Hold on. First of all, let me just show you. This is how we do it here at Terra Illumination. We use the Terra Illumination Crucible spread on the understanding that there's you, dear Scorpio, significant other, and we're going above and beyond just relating face to face. We're relating through the relationship. It's on the understanding the relationship has its own identity, its own structure, its own meaning, its own purpose. In a loving relationship, both parties know that and they invest in the relationship. What does it take to build a loving relationship? And so on. And how to maintain that, do the repairs and the maintenance on that. You'll see how it shows up in the cards in a minute. Okay, so the crucible is a very durable structure that can withstand intense pressures that happen through the alchemical dynamics that occur in a loving relationship as parties intimate and separate, as we intimate and separate on an ever, never ending basis. Okay, just like the waves of the ocean. Now, before we get into it, August, okay, just coming out of July, we had two big eclipses, the July 12th eclipse, Cancer new moon, and then at the very end of July, July 27th, we had the Leo Aquarius eclipse, which was probably quite challenging for most Scorpios. And now we're going to be coming into the Leo new moon eclipse, which is going to be, I'll show you in a second here. Because this is August, I'm only focusing on the Leo new moon eclipse, but I'm going to talk about the other stuff anyway, okay? So look, this is you, Scorpio. These are my own personal notes, and I just reference them for private readings and so on, and things like this in the general reports. August 2018, these notes are just about the new moon eclipse in Leo in your 10th house on August 11th. So with an eclipse, of course, old ways are going to be eclipsed out and new things will be eclipsed in. And eclipses are like evolutionary gateways. There's no going back. So they can sometimes be quite uncomfortable, shocking, especially considering we've just come out at the end of July, the Leo Aquarius eclipse, which would have hit you at the foundations of your life over here in the 4th house with Aquarius. So with the new moon Leo eclipse up here, you'll probably be getting like really stark awakenings about your destiny in the world, your mission, your purpose for being here in ways that you've never really had a chance to encounter or learn about or discover or even activate before, but now it's happening. You've got the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and the North Node all happening up here. So there's a tremendous pressure on you to grow and evolve and mature. Leave behind everything that's no longer yours and accept and bring in everything that is yours and then move forward when it comes to this part of your life, which is very much, it's a very public position. It's like you in this world, your mission, like why are you here? What are you doing here? Sort of energy. So I'm just going to add to this without messing up the little doodle here. Jupiter is in Scorpio right here, right now. Uranus is in Taurus right here, right now. We just came out of the Aquarius full moon eclipse over here, and Mars is going to be shifting eventually into Virgo. But the thing is, for a lot of August, there's some really hard squares between here and here and here and here. You can't see it on this chart, but it's a lot of pressure on you, Scorpio, because it's the hard angles here, 1, 4, 7, and 10. So please allow for that. It could be, to be honest, it could be really uncomfortable for you. The Leo energy is, technically speaking, squared, hard angles to you. But again, a lot of growth comes through challenge, a lot of spiritual growth. So you might be experiencing a lot of shifts in what is happening in the foundations of your life, your sense of home, where you live, where you sleep, your sense of security, and how is that affecting your career? And also, how is your career, your calling in this world affecting your sense of home, where you live, things like that. And because of the Jupiter Uranus oppositions sitting right here in your first and seventh house, that includes your most important relationships, especially the ones that have the structure of a marriage, as opposed to dating or as opposed to romantic, delicious love here or deep intimacy. We're calling contractual relationships. So please allow for that, all of that, okay? Potentially a lot of stress here, a lot of growth can come from stress. So I'm just going to put this all back together and then we'll get on with it, okay? Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if they're all different. Cross watch for your significant others too, if you really want to get deep into this stuff. It really can help. And then reinterpret however you want. Of course, it's your reading, it's for you. So please make the best of this, okay? Cards were already well shuffled in advance, but I'm going to go to the last second so that you're a witness. I'm sorry about that long, talky intro, but I had to get it out there. It's potentially a very stressful month for all Scorpios, for every aspect, not just love and relationships. So please allow for that going through August. And because of the eclipses, allow for things to smooth out. It'll become much gentler towards the end of September, okay? Towards the middle and the end of September. All right, so please allow for that. All I'm saying is basically hold on tight, be extremely patient with the Mars energy and with the hard angles. It's very volatile. It's easy to like lose it. It's easy to completely lose it in these conditions. So please be very careful. Be more loving than ever before. Please allow for the significant other and the mirroring effects that happen with you in loving relationships. Cards are well shuffled. You are a witness. Let's cut it all up now. Bless these cards. Bless this reading. Bless this channel. Bless you, dear viewer. Thank you for coming here. Please bring in your team of angels, your spirit guides and all that, because that's what we do here as well. It really, really helps, okay? So here's you, the love energy that you would be radiating. Here's the energy of a significant other. Or a potential what if you're single. Over here, deep down inside of you, deep inside of the other, and here at the core, the relationship itself. So you can see here the crucible structure. This is the structure in which the relationship flows, where we are always in a process of intimacy and separation. We intimate and we separate. It's a continuous, never-ending flow, and it needs a place for this to happen. This would be the crucible, the home of the relationship. Okay, over here, prospects, momentum, outcome, so to speak. Over here, circumstantial, environmental, what's going on around you. Let's say the planets, the eclipses, the hard, big, grand squares, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus stuff, whatever it is. What does that look like? But with the Nine of Wands, it's just like, wow, okay, yeah, you're being taken right to the limits, really, really pushed right to the wall. That would be totally expected in these circumstances, given just the even meager notes that I've shown to you already. Just want to go back. What I showed you here, if I can find it, hold on, it's here somewhere. Okay, this is just the very tip. I'm just picking out the main calendar moment as far as I'm concerned for the month. But I'm also adding, you know, the Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus angles there are very, very tough right now for all Scorpios. It's a tremendous an awakening that can be happening for you with Uranus and Taurus over here in your seventh house. And this is the beginning of a 7-year journey for you, Taurus. You still got beautiful, benevolent, healing power of Jupiter and Scorpio here. So there's a lot going on for you in love and relationship, but I don't want to put that on this chart because this is just generic for everyone, not just love and relationship, okay? So underneath, like we said here, circumstantial energy, think of it as weather. Yeah, okay, so things are challenging. Let's just admit it. But that's not the end of you. You've got more than enough guts, stamina to, you know, to hang in, to keep it going. And you might feel as though you've been like, you know, we know what happens under extreme stress, where you feel like you're painted into a corner where it would be very easy to lash out. But you also know deep down that's not going to be effective. So it's much more to do with the energy of patience, endurance, knowing that you will prevail under the most challenging circumstances and conditions. Okay, so I'm proud of you, Scorpio. Hang in. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. All right, what are you radiating over here? Okay, maxed out stress. Well, this doesn't surprise me at all. That's why I'm laughing here. So please don't freak out. It might be that these angles, the Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio things are really, really, really letting you feel hogtied. In fact, let's just do this. Scorpios, I'm just going to indulge you guys. Give me a moment here. So this might be an extra long reading. August 2018. I'm just going to keep it very generic. Okay, please don't quote me on any of this stuff. I do a lot of stuff like this for my own homework and when I'm working with clients, because I have to move very fast. There's so little time to do all this stuff. But when we're dealing with this and this and this and this in the broad strokes, look at this. This is what is called a grand cross. Square. This is all squared to itself and each other. That's maximum pressure. Now, add on top of it the polarities and the oppositions here, here, and here, especially with you, Scorpio. Okay, first house, that's you. And this is other. Okay, so can you imagine? Look at that. Okay, so here's the Leo. Okay, and here's the Aquarius. Okay, and this is you, Scorpio. So look at that. Like, talk about maximum pressure, maximum stress. You could feel like you're hogtied. Can you imagine yourself here in the middle? You know, like they do on those deep, dark crime movies, and they take those Ziplocs, those zip tie things. They tie one to your wrist here, another wrist here, an ankle here, and an ankle here, and then they tighten it up. Zip, zip, zip. You're hogtied. So what are you going to do in that position? It brings out the maximum stress, okay? So it's forgivable, Scorpio, if you're feeling like super max stressed out, okay? Okay, in the context of a love relationship. Oh, sorry, let me go back. Because we're dealing with this polarity here, and this polarity here is being highly challenged by this and this. So it's just like, where do you go? What do you do? Like, so it's understandable if you're feeling like stressed out to the max through August until like middle of September. Okay, this would be normal, right? So don't stress about stressing, just allow the stresses to unfold. What I would suggest here is that if this literally is like a symbolic representation of you, what you're facing, what you're going through right now, it's understandable. Please allow this to flow and don't judge yourself or withhold this, because this could turn very toxic on yourself and others if it's not allowed to flow. So my feeling is just to continue to, if this is what you're radiating, then so be it. Let it be so, all right? And what about a significant other over here? Oh, well, you're extremely lucky, Scorpio, because you might be you might be feeling totally hogtied yourself. You might be deeply in love. You might be deeply loving. You might be deeply loved. You might be stressing about home and career, or career and home, and how that affects relationship, or how your significant one-on relationship affects your home and career, or all of that at once. But you're extremely lucky, Scorpio, because it looks like you're relating to someone who feels very deeply loving towards you, to the depths of soulmate, where, like, this stuff doesn't matter. This is just passing stuff. This is what counts. This is kind of love that existed before you were born, maybe you were lovers in the past. Maybe you were married, had farms, wars, jobs, careers, different genders in the past, but the love endures, and it's here now in the present moment, and it will endure in the next lifetimes, sometime down the road. So it looks to me that you're really lucky, Scorpio, in some way, somehow or other. There's a component of your other significant other over here is who's very, very deeply loving towards you at the soulmate level, which makes you almost immune from your own worst imaginings. Okay, it's almost like they're there for you anyway, and it's almost like they were waiting for this. It's almost like they can be very healing for you, and they can be very soothing for you, very comforting for you, and knowing that you have that. Yeah, you're going through these amazing stresses right now, and those can impact the relationship, but they're not going to let your own personal stresses and dramas destroy them or impede this or undermine anything, because to me this feels way bigger than anything that could happen over these few eclipses and all that kind of stuff, that's which is just passing, because we're talking about lifetimes of love that has been shared here. That's what I feel. Okay, so I'm just sharing that with you, Scorpio. I'm just telling you the story from the Tarot Illumination perspective. Okay, you can reinterpret however you want. Deep inside, look at this. So you're possibly already acutely aware that there's something deeply fated about what is happening here. It's almost like you were meant to be with them. They are meant to be with you. And all of these, I'm going to have to just keep doing this. I can see it now. Oh, excuse me. All of this stuff that's happening here for you, Scorpio, is basically meant to be. Think of this, okay? Put the Wheel of Fortune here at the center, okay? Or let's put it even like this. Or let's, no, let's, you know what? Let's do it like this, okay? I'm going to do it like this, okay? I'm going to put it like, no, it doesn't make sense that way. All right. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that this super high stressful dynamic it's inevitable. I mean, the planets are just doing what they do. They're not trying to hurt you or show off or anything. They're just doing what they do, and it's up to you how do you deal with it. So if you find a way to deep down realize through your stresses that everything is exactly as it should be, the fates are lining up exactly the way they should be for your own best benefit, it just means that you might have to go through a tremendous like ripping and a shredding in order to get through the eclipses and come out the other side. And it might be very, very tough on you psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. But in some ways, if you think about it, like the earth, the air, the fire, the water, all the planets are doing exactly what they do. And this is a tremendous opportunity for growth, tremendous growth through tremendous challenge. So, and that's how it affects a relationship. In other words, you might feel through all these stresses like you're being exposed to how amazing this is in a significant other, and you're getting the glimpses now. You already know it. You know that there's going to be serious challenges ahead for you and a significant other, and with a significant other for you, but they are with you, okay? And it is meant to be. This is meant to be, and this is just getting you like prepped up, aligned for what's going to unfold, because next year with the Cancer Capricorn eclipses, excuse me, my computer was talking, those energies are much more harmonious to you. 2017 and the last part of 2016 might have been very challenging for you with these dynamics we just talked about. Let's see what's going on inside of them over here. Oh, okay. Well, my feeling is that in their own sweet way, however they do this, however they're relating with you, they feel very, literally, it's like they feel very lucky to be with you, to have the abundance of you in their life. Even if you're feeling hogtied, even if you're totally stressed out, even if you're freaking out about career, locations, home, and what the bleep is actually going on in your relationship. That's you. The significant other over here is perfectly happy how they are, being in this, from what their perspective is, a deeply loving soulmate type of relationship with you. And they feel it deep in their bones to the point where, like, gosh, I know this is going to sound very, very counterintuitive or contradictory, but it's like they feel like, it's almost, to me, it feels like they are blessed to have this abundance in their lives, and they would own it to the point where, like, wow, what am I supposed to do with all this? What am I going to do with all this? It's like getting an inheritance or something, a nice inheritance. And they're aware of that. So that's why I don't see them wigging out on you because you're going through a very stressful period. Instead, it feels more like they're part of a very fated, potentially very rewarding dynamic for themselves. So again, which often happens in the context of relationships, just because you're having a sucky time doesn't mean they are, and just because they're having a gorgeous time doesn't mean that you have to. Okay, living your own lives, live your life in the context of the crucible here, in the structure where the alchemical processes of loving and being loved, intimacy and separation can create something from their perspective really quite yummy out of this. And from their perspective, when they see you, they're probably already aware that you're sensing this as a fated thing. And again, they're not, it's not like they're getting sucked up in a whirlpool of your fate, which leaves them disempowered. No, they are literally conducting their own lives, maintaining their own integrity, their own stability, while you live yours. So there's a lot of, to me, it looks like there's a lot of graciousness and room here to breathe, breathing room, where we're talking about individuals who can really be themselves in the context of a loving relationship. You get to be you. They get to be themselves, and the loving nature of the relationship allows this to happen. Let's have a look. What is going on at the core here? Okay. So with this Seven of Wands here, my feeling is that remember, this is not a couples reading. This is for you, Scorpios, and we're allowing for a significant other. So in terms of the context of the relationship and the nature of the relationship itself right now, it could feel like you're under maximum pressure that anyone could handle or be expected to put up with in a relationship. You might, all those factors could be just piling up on you. If you think of each of these little wands down here is some kind of very, very stressful agenda energy that has full right to happen. Like, these energies, these planets they're not going to apologize for being what they are and how they are and doing what they do. They're just doing what they do. It's up to you to handle it. The pressure is coming at you for sure, and it's putting a lot of pressure on the relationship itself, because the relationship is part of the eclipses, but it's indirect. And it's part of the eclipses because even though the eclipse is happening here, like your career, your destiny, like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? What am I supposed to be doing in this world? It's affected by this and this and this. There's no way out of it. And in fact, every component affects every other component. Like, whatever it is, decisions that you're making in your home, your place of being, your place where you sleep, your sense of security, that affects the relationship. It affects you. It affects your career. And then what the other person is doing over here affects your career, your place, your home, all of it. And all of these factors here, career, home, and the other, affect how you feel and who you sense that you are becoming as an individual, as the person, as the self. Okay, so that's a lot of pressure. But look, you are prevailing, okay? You can handle it. The relationship is enduring. In other words, my feeling is this is an exact illustration of what happens in the crucible in a relationship. When a relationship dynamic is taken to the maximum levels of pressure, can you handle it? It looks to me very clearly that the relationship structure itself, the crucible, the thing that you guys own together, is taking it, is handling it. And you're living through this together, and it's very courageous. My senses are, for you, Scorpio, that they are perfectly aware of all this stuff that you're having to endure, but it is not their life. It's not their problem. They're still here for you, but you have to deal with it. And luckily, as the relationships go from like this to this, like it's all about you for 1 minute, it's all about them for the minute, then it's all about I need space, honey, well I need space too, and then like, you know, we need to get it on seriously because we've missed each other. However it's working out, the relationship is still there. And in this period of intense stress on Scorpios, the crucible, which is a very, very strong bowl structure, like they use in science, we can withstand like smelting, like smelting of gold, smelting of metals, extreme toxic chemical relationships. And the crucible is still there. You're enduring. So that's, to me, this is very good. Yeah, it's stressful, but you're very lucky to have this person, Scorpio, and that the crucible is withholding. In other words, it's just like it's holding up, okay? So don't worry. Let's have a look. Okay. With my feeling here with the Eight of Swords is that it takes you through, like, remember this too shall pass. Like August is literally, it's almost going to feel like, it's in some ways almost like torture. And I don't want to scare you, Scorpio, but torture to the point where if you think of this as being hogtied, like in some like scary dark European horror movie, and then the bad people, if you think of these as challenging energies, I'm not trying to condemn the other person, but they are the planets are in very, very direct, you know, polarization to each other here. It's like you're getting cattle prods from here, a cattle prod from here, a taser from here. You're getting maced from over here. Somebody's sticking your fingers in a light socket over here. Somebody's waterboarding you from here, but you're holding up, okay? So it puts you under a lot of pressure, but you come out the other side. My feeling is that as you get through this month, yeah, let's just admit it's like trying to solve an incredibly complex puzzle and it takes you to the limits of your abilities. But my feeling is that sometimes when I see this card, I do see the energy of a puzzle or a maze, like a maze, those things where you walk around and you deliberately get lost and you look for the way out. And once you've done that, it's an achievement. And sometimes, like the toughest challenges are when you go through a maze blindfold, where you've got really nothing to lean on except the fates and the love that you know that is out there for you. And then you kind of go through it. But the beauty is, if you think of it like a puzzle, it's something that can be solved. And there's no harm here. No one is hurting here, but you can come out a lot wiser because you've had to endure and face all these challenges and obstacles, like all the fears that you could possibly have imagined. Yeah, they all came into being and you dealt with all of them. You came out the other side essentially unbruised, wiser. Perhaps you would wish you'd never had to have gone through all this, but my feeling is that this will make you stronger coming out the other side when you get into September. I just feel that these eclipses up to August 11th and unfolding from there onwards are really going to take you to your limits of yourself as a being, which will impact your relationship. But I think you're relating with someone who can handle it. So let's just leave it at that. I don't want to scare you or freak you out about all of this stuff. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Scorpio. All the best. You can do the action replay rewinds, okay? Be loving, be loved. I think you're doing that already under duress. That's all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.